evening and welcome to this week's edition of Zaiyah's House. I'm your host, Zaiyah007 and your co-host
Uptown.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to tackle that question of the week, which was about licenses for being married. Should there be an expiration date? Should you have to renew it? What do you think about that?
Oh, that's kind of interesting. I believe yeah, you should. I mean, you know, when you get an apartment and you got a lease, you get a 1 year or 2 year lease. You have to do that over. So with marriage, yeah, because people change in that time frame. You know, like sometimes the person you married is not the same person 3 years or 2 years, whatever you know, it's the same person years later. So you're not the same person, and I don't like what's going on here. I should be able to say, hey, I'm not renewing this lease. I'm not renewing this marriage license. I'm leaving. That's it. You know, I'm gone. I'm gonna cut my losses and keep it moving.
Cut your losses.
You know, so yes, might say yes. You should have a expiration date on it. Period.
I don't just think there should be an expiration date. I think there should be an expiration date. I think there should be a manual. You know, there's certain things that you just don't learn when you're in school or coming up or what have you. Like knowledge about credit, a lot of times they don't teach you that in school. I mean, when a lot of us people get married, they don't know what to look for in a significant other. They don't know whether this person is good with money. They don't know whether this person is good with children. They don't know whether this person is trustworthy. They don't know. There's so many things that you don't know what to look for in a person when you get married, when you're very, very, very young. And the person can turn out to be your worst nightmare. So, yeah, I think if you're really young when you get married, there should be an expiration date. If you get older, you know what you get into. So I don't think you should have. You signed up and you in for the long haul. But when you're really young, yeah, because you might just love her. Well, why do you love her? What is it about you? You just love her. That's a young statement. So I think, yeah. Okay. So I think that yeah, there rightly could be a 4 year, you know, situation or 2 year situation where, you know, you got a contract for so long in the beginning, but in the end stage when your money is all mingled and stuff like that, you know, you ain't getting out that stuff.
It's like a lease.
Yeah.
Check the match like a lease.
Yeah. The option to buy. There you go. Okay. So, we're going to go on to the second question. And the second question is, should a person let their parents dictate their sexual preference or who they marry? And why do some parents try to dictate who their child dates, whether it's same sex or interdenominational or what have you, you know, different faiths or what have you. How do you feel about that?
Okay, all right. Why do some parents dictate people's sexual preference?
Yeah.
I mean,
with their child.
Well, you know, most people want, sometimes why parents choose the sexual preference, but it should be like, I guess in their eyes, you know, man and woman, man. You know, a lot of those religious reasons. You know, like, you know, Christians, and, you know, different religions. So, you know, the Bible says one thing, so they go for that. And who they marry, well, sometimes some parents look at their child as like, they're not smart enough to make this decision on their own. You know, they choose the worst person in the world, so they say, listen, my daughter shouldn't be marrying that guy, or my guy should be marrying that lady, and that's why they do that, because they actually they stepping out the box, and they seeing what's going on from their perspective. So I mean, and sometimes we want parents to like mind their business when it comes to, you know, our relationships, but sometimes they seeing what's really happening. You know, you go into your, you know, I always say that, you know, the heart has a mind of its own. So sometimes you don't make the best decision. But people look at, you know, outside be like, oh my God, you see what they're about to do? And they just want the best for you. So that's why sometimes parents get involved, because they see what's going on that you don't see. You're blinded. You know, your eyes are wide shut. That's why parents do what they, you know, tell them to do. That's my take.
Okay. Well, I say, I mean, taking ignorance out of the equation, because some people just are raised a certain way and that's all they can see is that way. Sometimes a parent is trying to protect their child, you know, because they know if they choose to be in a same-sex relationship, it's just like me and my child is going out to a party that night, okay? And, you know, let's say my child is heterosexual, he's going to a party. I'm going to worry about him getting mugged, I'm going to worry about the cops stopping him for something, or, you know, something of that nature. But if you add on top of that, your child is walking down the street with someone of the same sex holding hands. A lot of times it's not necessarily that you don't want them in that type of relationship. It's you you know the type of you know how ignorant society is, and you know there's a lot of crazy people out there that will just harm your child for no good reason. So a lot of times that's the reason behind a parent making that decision. It's out of fear. So I mean, if you're a child and that's how you feel, then do what you feel. But you know, understand that a lot of times, you know, a parent is like, you know, you scared to death because, you know, nobody wants to see anything happen to their child. And I guess that's answering both questions. As far as who they marry, I mean, I don't think that has anything to do with same sex or anything like that. I think just as a parent, if your child is trying to get married really young, you know, depending on the person that they're marrying. I mean, if the person that you're marrying, you see the person and you feel a certain way about them, and you know the person is a good person, and you're not really worried about it. But if you know that that person is, you can see it from the time you meet them, like they're getting ready to lead your child down the path of ill repute. So, I mean, then you get that feeling and you try to tell, but love sees, you know, nothing. Love is blind. So, that's the reason why sometimes a parent feels like that, because they can see that the person that you're getting ready to hook up with, you're just skipping into disaster. So, but then again, parents are always right. They say there are 3 stages of being a parent or being a child. They say the first stage, your child looks up to you. The second stage, your child judges you. And the third stage, your child forgives you. So, I mean, that's just the way it works.
And that's always on the deathbed, right?
You know? I understand what my mother and father was saying when they were small, when I was small. And I used to always hate when they told me, but now I'm a better person. Yeah. I told that story 1,000 times. Okay, and on that note, we're going to see some people play some music.
Yeah, I got a special performance for y'all. I bring to you tonight the Collective Bro, Julius Bass on bass guitar, Sean V on lead, Zaiyah007 on drums. And the Collective is also looking for rappers, poets, and singers. Please contact us at Uptown3D55 at Yahoo. And now, I bring to you, Bro.
Badonks.